Hi everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to DocuSweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which can be salty, can be sweet, can be bitter, can be spicy. At the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi.
Hey. So today we are talking about 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After Season 7, Episode 5, Complicated.
Why you gotta go and make things so complicated? I see the way you're acting like you're somebody else, getting me frustrated.
Why this choice? Why this choice of this loud, shrill, version of the song?
Well, that's how I kind of feel like it sounds, I guess. How would you do it?
Why you gotta go and make things so complicated? I suppose. Why you gotta go and make things so complicated?
Oh God, honey.
That's literally what you did.
Well, that vibrato at the end, I don't not like it.
It was a seagull. There was a seagull one of like.
It's very Little Mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, baby boos. So we are going to start off with Yara and Jovi.
Jovi. No, Jovi. Why, Jovi, you do this, Jovi? No, I don't like it. That's wrong. Not
There's
that.
a little fly.
Jovi. That's Jovi. Oh. Wherein Yara is going through a lot and Jovi cannot think about anything but his manhood.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like how much money he has and like how much money that he wants to keep in his possession.
Oh my God. As an ethnic person, his conversation about what he wants, how unfeasible it would be if she were to bring... Unfeasible is not a word.
It's like that's what Anfeasa is. Yeah. Like it's an unfeasible, you know, like where's my red makeup bag? You know, like, or give me
my red makeup bag. Like it is like, it was just tacky. I was like, you're talking about refugees and you're worried about how many people you can house. I'm like, if you got room on your floor, you got room to house people.
Yeah, exactly. Like, especially if their other is just like about to die.
Yeah. It was just like...
She knows these people.
It was wild, the things he was saying. So Yara's sitting on the living room floor crying because Russia has just invaded the Ukraine. And she's very, very upset about it. Yeah. Very, very. As she should be.
Yeah, she's not eating. She's not sleeping. You know, she's definitely not putting any fake eyelashes on.
I know. And it's crazy because, like, as Americans, truthfully, we don't have any frame of reference because I don't think, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, that the U.S. has fought any wars on U.S. ground since the Civil War. Like, no one has invaded the U.S. So it's like, he could never truly understand like what that feels like.
Technically, I guess they bombed Pearl Harbor.
Well, I mean, that's an attack, right? But there was no actual war fought on the land.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So an attack is different than an invasion. Like, yeah, the Twin Towers is considered an attack, even though it didn't. There's no more arrest destruction.
Okay, so let's talk about the next part. We'll give Jovi this, that he like is like speaking to Mila with some like Russian, you know, like he like is picking her up and they're going to this like restaurant called City Pork, you know, like. Just here's the thing, they ended up getting like a fruit and cheese plate, so maybe the pork is more salami, which I would like get, you know. Like I love any sort of, please, if there is a good looking fruit and cheese plate, I'm getting it. I would, even if it's basic. By the way, I've already had a pumpkin spice latte, that's fine, you know. I got it with oat milk and I got it iced, and I did it, you have to like get less of the sugar pumps because it really is super freaking sweet.
Yeah, it's just like Starbucks has changed from being like a coffee company to like a sugar factory.
Yeah. It's like yogurt land. So, but basically they're obviously talking about the fact that he's like, look, I, you know, totally don't, you know, I totally get that if you want to have some of your family and friends come over, as we said. And she's like, but it's also going to be like, how long are they going to be here? And like, think about how expensive it is, you know?
Yeah, like I know they have savings, but their savings is not going to go very long. And I'm like, Jovi, do you hear yourself? Your wife is hurting right now. And you are talking about how it's not possible for you to be able to support that many people. Like, don't even say that. Like, I get that it's a thought and it might be a valid case. Like, 2 months down the line, but right now is not the time or the place to be worrying about money in front of her. So she's basically like, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go to Prague. I'm gonna meet at the Czech Republic. I'm gonna meet with my mom, and I just need to be in Europe. And like, and it's an irrational choice, right? Because she's hurting and she wants to do something, and it's probably like a little bit of the guilt, you know, like when vets leave the war and they like feel guilt that they get to go home and their friends are still there. It's kind of like that. Like she left Ukraine and all of her friends are and certain family members are suffering, and she just feels like she doesn't know what she's gonna do. But if maybe she could just be in Europe, like maybe if she could just be there, she can try to use resources and help and do something. And he's like, okay, well, you're not gonna go without me. And she's like, well, you got to go to work. And he's like, well, you can't wait 3 weeks. And she's like, no. So she really is like, I don't know if I'm going to go. And instead of him just being like, I want to be there to support you because this is going to be very hard. I want to be there to help you and Mila. Like instead of taking the compassionate sort of perspective about it, to me, he then goes like, as a man, I can't just let my wife go. And then he also makes another comment. What does he say? He says, I just dropped out of my head. But he just says something that's like, Jovi, that is not, I want to be there to help you make rational decisions.
Oh, Jesus.
Jovi, that's not rational decisions?
Yeah.
Yes, that might be why you really want to go. And that's valid. But just say it in a different way. Say, I want to be there to support you because you're going to be going through a lot, and I want to help you. I want to be a sounding board for you. I want to be somebody that you can like lean on because I know you want to support the people, and I want to support you supporting the people.
Yeah, you're my wife. I'm your husband. I want to be there for you, and just like it would make me feel safer to know that, you know, during a wartime that you and the baby and has me to just like facilitate your protection and safety, and then just like, you know, your well-being. And I just would feel better, like, as you know, like Mila's father. There's like a lot of ways to say it.
Yeah.
But you know, she also says at one point that she makes enough money to buy expensive purses. Did you clock that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, she was like, when she was saying like, Jovi, like they can sleep, you know, like wherever, like, and I'm always, you know, like I make enough money to buy expensive purses, which made me really happy for her. Like, I wonder like how expensive, like I want to know, like,
yeah, and she's gonna have her
wardrobe,
her work permit by the time they get there, you know, in this fantasy world that people get to leave. Like, and so he's like acting like it's all going to be on him. No, Yara's going to go to work. Yeah. She will continue to sell her clothes, and she will also get a job at a boutique, and she will also start serving. Like, she's going to work. I don't know why he thinks it's all going to land on him. And guess what? There's going to be plenty of babysitters for Mila because she's bringing over the people who understand what a babushka is supposed to do.
Ooh, boo-boo. Okay, so do you want to move on to a Diff's Peeps?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Who do you want to move on to? Say their name.
How about Sumit? Do you want to do Sumit and Jenny?
Okay, Sumit and Jenny it is. Where are their pictures? Who knows? There it is. Okay, so we've got Sumit and Jenny, wherein Jenny just keeps saying dumb stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like this, but more about also how this hotel and this package deal of like what they go on sounds so much fun. So basically, just imagine waking up in that place, you know, and like coffee's just brought to you, you know, like the way you like it. Like I would get like an oat milk latte. What?
Yeah, and did you notice that?
Great.
Did you notice that she did not serve him coffee?
She was like, yours is over there.
Yeah. I'm like, ma'am, you keep talking about how he's your husband and you're his wife, but bitch, you don't be trying to serve him.
And she's not serving him and his wants and needs later on too.
I mean, it's just like a lot. Like, girl, make this man some coffee. You know, funny story. I'm gonna say this in 30 seconds. So we were at a party. We were at the birthday party this weekend, and my brother and his wife were there. And like, it's kind of tradition, like in the culture, to serve your husband, like when you're at like events and, you know, publicly serve your spouse. And so he's sitting down and he's holding the baby, the like birthday boy, and the birthday boy's grandmother walks up and goes, "Hey, Osan, are you hungry? You want something to eat?" And like Kenya, his wife, had just asked him like 10 minutes ago if he wanted something to eat, and all of a sudden he's like, "Yeah, can I have so da-da-da-da?" And she's like, "Okay." And so Kenya's like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, my bad. No, it's okay. Kenya will get it." She's like, "I just asked you if you wanted food, and now you're over here taking food from somebody else and making me look like a bad wife." Like, you know, like she didn't say all that, but it was just like this moment. And I turned to him and I was like, "Wasani, you are not letting your wife serve you." And so, like, for me, it's cultural. So I'm like, a plate of food comes. Like, even you do it to me. If something comes, we'll serve each other. Like, here's this for you. Like, Chris will serve me if I'm at her house. Like, it's kind of the thing you do. And like, Jenny fully missed the ball on that and was like, your coffee's over there. Damn,
Yeah,
girl.
yeah, you're on vacation. He picked this place. So, and I wonder, like, this whole episode again is about her having to keep up and whether she can do it or not.
Yeah.
So
Right.
basically, yeah, I mean, really, in different ways. But they had this horrible conversation about like knocking the bed frame at night, like, and there's making all this noise, and they have called the hotel. But then like, no, just keep making the noise. Like, it starts off, I guess, being like we've been, like really having a lot of sex, and we just like have the greatest sex, and like we're married and having sex everywhere. Like, Jenny's like tee hee hee.
I want to know what that sex is like. I just feel like it. I want to know all the things.
Like, I want to know every detail.
I want to know what kind of lube they use. I want to know if they're protected. They're probably not, because she can't get pregnant.
Yeah, why would they be? They're married.
Yeah. Well, because she can't get pregnant.
Yeah, they're married. Yeah.
Wait, flesh that thought out for me.
Because if she can't get pregnant, you don't have to worry about getting pregnant. And then if you are also married, you're in a monog relationship, and like you're married, you assume you're not going to get an STD, so you can just like raw dog.
Oh, okay.
Would you think she would? Why?
I don't naturally think that married people would not use a condom, especially if the woman is not on birth control and they don't want kids.
Yeah, but we already established that. So yeah, like, so yes, that, but because, okay, so, God bless. Okay, moving on. So she's like, well, can we just go down to the beach today and like just put our toesies in the sandsies, like, and he's like, nope.
No, we're never going to be here again. There's activities to be had. There's life to have been led.
Yeah.
Lead. And like, no, we're going to do some adventurous stuff. So then they go to do.
He's like, do you want a zip line, cliff jump, bungee jump? She's like, I'm 63, like she says she's willing to try different things to keep up with her 33-year-old husband. Is that true?
No, it's not true. Then they get to the adventure spot and we see this handsome bloke.
Ooh, hi. He's cute. Okay. She's like, who's the oldest person that's ever like zip line? He's like 92.
I'm like, Jenny, if we don't stop this old conversation, I'm sick of talking about your age. We can see how old you are.
Yeah.
Clearly.
So she's so like, she gets up there. She's like so scared to do it. She's like, for some reason they're making her go first, which I thought was like a bad move anyway. And she's like, I can't do it. Submit first. Then he gets.
Well, in case she gets stuck, Submit can come right up behind her, just push her and keep her going. That's not how it works. I'm just kidding.
Is that true?
No, that's not how it works. That was a joke.
Wow, it was just like you were like an expert about it.
I've ziplined a lot. In one day. It was one day of lots of ziplining.
Oh, it's so interesting because didn't we once try to zipline in Vegas?
Mm-hmm. Remember, it was too windy.
Yeah.
Remember when I was in Utah for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
I did a lot of activities. One of those activities was ziplining.
Was it scary?
The first time I did it was, but we went from like thing to thing. So we zip line to this thing, and then it's higher, and then you go down to one that's low, but then you walk up and then you go higher. So it was like an obstacle course of zip lining. So by the time I got to the last one, I was a professional.
Would you do it again?
Mm-hmm.
Was like
I want to do it everywhere. I want to do it in the jungle. I want to do it in a canyon. I want to do it everywhere. It's great.
Well, okay. Well, here it is. Like, listen, sponsors get to her. Saying she'll like, yeah. Not me though. I love my life. Okay, so I'm just kidding. But I'm scared. Okay. I'm a Jenny. No, I don't want to jump out of a plane. Nothing. I already said that about like Kimberly. Remember when she because this is the opposite of Kimberly. Remember how Kimberly was like, I love go-karts. I like jumping out of a plane. Like Kimberly loves it. So
Me too.
Honey, well. Jamal. Okay, so basically then Sumit does it. He, loves it, loves it,
Jane does it too, and she loves it as well, but it takes her a long time.
Yeah. She said it was the scariest thing she did and she had flown to India with no cell phone to be with Sumit. Which that was really, really funny. Her little like woo, and she did it also make me really happy. So then later on, they have this conversation and this beautiful religious fire scene.
Yeah, and I love the fact that she acknowledged that the U.S. doesn't have a lot of rituals like this, and that India is kind of chalked with them. And I just think that must be so lovely, because here's the truth. I'm not necessarily a spiritual person, but if I was in an environment where you had to kind of give grace and we're thankful and grateful in prayer. It's kind of like yoga's whole philosophy too, of like the breath and being grateful for the time spent in the space. It's like, I think I might be a more peaceful person, just me personally. So the idea that there's like different traditions that have to do with like lighting that candle on that tray thing. I've seen that in a lot of Bollywood movies, and like, even the ritual of like when you meet your parent-in-law, getting down and like kissing their feet. Like there's just something like I like about all the different things you do. And it's like to get rid of negative energy and to like, move forward into the future. The only thing that we have in the States is something similar is like not 4th of July, but New Year's, where we make a resolution and we like let go of old stuff and things like that. And I love it. I also, think Indian culture is super interesting, and like, great food, music. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I do. I get that. I think like in the Jewish culture, there's a lot of holidays that are kind of like that. So I think that, like there's definitely, if I was to follow Arab Christianity, there'd be a lot of like saint days that like require, I mean, hardcore Catholics can like get real nitty gritty about the spirituality. Like every day is a saint day in the way that you like go to church. I mean, yeah, it's just, I'm not as, God bless.
Yeah.
Always there, but I, God bless. I love him. And her, and them. God bless.
She just had to be like inclusive just in that moment.
Well, we don't know what God or goddess looks like, or is, and there's not really.
I just love all of like the like different gods and the different things that they have. Like I love an idea of like a fertility goddess. Like I just love that idea. It makes it so that every day and month is like a different celebration, and I need lots of joy in my life. Go ahead.
No, I want to make a flower boat. Like let's go make flower boats and like send them down the river. However, like hopefully it won't be like what happens when they send theirs down the river, which they like
run immediately into a roadblock.
Yeah, just like disintegrates.
It just goes on fire.
Yeah, like what wish was that?
Exactly. Chinese New Year is fun too. I don't celebrate it exactly, but at work we honor it. So like it's just like weeks of different things, and like I love that idea too.
They also have like they say they have like a King Triton like mark on their head. Like it was just like a specific like like very like little Ariel mark. Like that's the second Little Mermaid reference we made.
It's relevant to this.
Yeah, it's
time frame.
I know. Well, it's been irrelevant to my life, my entire life.
Yeah, I went to see it in the movie theaters in 1989. It was the very first movie I ever saw.
I saw the El Capitan over here, which was like the Disney theater, and I immediately kept singing it over and over again. My dad made me go into like voice lessons to like make me stop singing it.
And it didn't work, but that's good for you.
So besides her floating that flower boat, she decides to float another idea and or situation by Sumit, which is, why don't we just get that visa and move to America?
Yeah, and he's like, no, I don't want to do that. And I love that. I love it. Yeah. You know why? Because like it takes away that whole idea of like using you for the visa. Also, you already made the commitment to move to India, and like y'all should have talked about that before all of a sudden you're trying to say you would like him to see you in India. I mean, you would like him to see how you are in America. But we got to back up because we missed a very important moment after the ziplining.
Yeah, the Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but like, let's just, God bless, we don't do everything right. So basically, after that conversation, but we just pretend this conversation happened, which is,
conversation happened, let's pretend to go back and move forward. Go.
Yeah. Sumit wants to be like, let's do another activity while we're here, which is there's probably like a Kama Sutra class or workshop. And Jenny takes this as being like almost like an offense to her, and or almost like an older man would do, like, I don't got to get taught anything, like she's not at all open, where she had said earlier she has to try and keep up with her like young lover. She's like not doing it. She's not being giving. She's not being gifted. You got to like, be open. And like her idea of Kama Sutra is literally like maybe seeing some pictures, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if she thinks it's going to be like, Jenny, get on your stomach and put your legs behind you and then up his body and then wrap your ankles around his neck. Jenny, that's what we're expecting of you, Jenny. Like that's what I think she feels it's going to be like. Stand on your head and then open your legs up like happy baby.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm just like,
You know?
who in there? It's just really odd. Like, you see the blinders go up when it's talking about yoga. Like, yoga does nothing but just open up your hip flexors and give you a little bit more mobility, get the juices flowing in them joints. And it's only good stuff. And she's like, no, I don't want to do, I don't think I need to do any of that. I've survived this whole time. I'm like, ma'am, you have a husband who is 30 years younger than you.
Mm-hmm.
And you should want to live to 90.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise you have a very specific timeline together. And I hate to be that person because I know everyone's talking about it now. Several podcasts have like, Jenny's only gonna, live X amount of years. And I hate to be that person, but like, girl, if getting the tantric sex and doing the yoga is going to help you be a healthier person and have a healthier sex life and get those dopamines and endorphins like shooting around in your brain when you have explosive, orgasms, then just do it. Especially if the man wants to do it. A lot of times the men always think they could just pump and go to sleep, but you're the man in this scenario wanting to pump and roll over and go to sleep.
Yep. She's a pillow princess, NyQuil queen,
Oh, I've never heard of NyQuil queen.
It's just like when, she just wants to like roll over and go to bed after work.
Oh, I'm a pillow princess.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously I am too, like look at all these pillows. Anyway, so basically that's what happens there, except flip those scenes. We love you so much. And let's move these on these. So as we always say, we just definitely won't ever be doing Ed, so we don't have to worry about it. Kimberly and Usman. Hi.
Alrighty.
They're just like still fighting from like they pick up like still fighting, like, I can't walk on my own, leave me the F alone, like
I'm grown.
Yeah.
Basically, she just wants a little space, and he is trying to not give that to her. So I see where she's coming from in that perspective. So he does give her space, but her whole thing is like, I can get back to the room on my own. I'm grown. Okay, girl. So he goes back to the room, and then she comes back up, and it's a lot of accusations on dumb statements made, like, I've done so much for this relationship. I've put myself on hold for 2.5 years. I've also gotten my hair done. Where? When?
Yeah, she's like, I had to pay to come here, and then I had to get my hair and nails done for the trip, and we had to buy new clothes. And I was like, Kimberly, first of all, you should be doing all of those things for you regardless.
Anyway,
that's already, but that's not what, like, that has nothing to do with him, honey. That's you. That's what you do for you. Now, however, we have seen you wine and dine him and get him a bunch of presents. So why don't you just start with that?
Yeah, just do it for yourself. Like,
respect yourself.
Instead of spending this MacBook, you should go and get a lot of things fixed. I mean, I'm just annoyed. I'm annoyed with the whole situation because I think she's absolutely wrong. And she's like, you never let me finish. I came here to ask questions. And then you've lied to me and told me something that it's different than what it was. And it's just like a lot of stuff. So he's like, listen, I can't do this. Okay. If we're going to be arguing like this, just let it be done. And she's like, is that what you want? And I'm like, bitch, no, that's what you want. You are acting a fool for no reason. You do not get to act a fool this way.
He's just basically like, I just gotta see if this is gonna be what it's going to be, because I will bounce. Like, I cannot do it. Like, I need to have a freaking second wife. We talked about it. And she's like, I know I can't give that to you, but like her like stickler is that like you misrepresented what it was going to be, as we said. So he basically the next day, she apologizes and says, I'm too old to be throwing things. And he's worried because they get served hot tea. And he's like, do not effing throw that.
Yeah, he's like, I just want you to be aware that there's hot tea in it. She's like, no, I'm never going to do that again. I'm really sorry. Like, that was really inappropriate. I shouldn't have done that. And he's like, okay. And she's like, no, I promise you, I'm literally never going to get that upset again. And I'm never going to throw anything. Like, if I do get that upset, I'm going to pull you aside. I'm never going to behave like that in front of people.
Yeah.
And she's like, but I know you were just trying to protect me by not telling me the full truth, but I need you to tell me the full truth. And I said, girl, don't try to make him out to like he was trying to protect you. He's not trying to protect you. Go ahead and fully call out his bad behavior.
Yeah.
By saying, Usman, you led me astray. Because every time she said you led me astray or you gave me a different story, he doesn't fight her. He just sits there.
Mm-hmm,
So he knows he told her something that wasn't accurate. But also, in his defense, Google some shit.
Yeah. It's interesting because sometimes you just have to have a breath where you let someone, don't be afraid to just keep awkward silence. Ask someone a question and let them, slay themselves with having to fill it with their answer. Yeah, so he basically is like worried that his family's not going to like her, which makes sense because like if she does any of that in front of his family, they're not going to like her.
Yeah, and they're not going to give their blessings. And so he's like, I'm trying to get this fixed now, and I need her to understand certain things. And then she's like, tries to spout off all the things she's done for the relationship. He's like, but I've done stuff too. And listen, the things that he spouted off, I wasn't mad at him for. I was like, you're right, you did do those things. And he just wants to try to like get her to act right because he's like, my family will not like her. And I love the fact that she says that, and then all of a sudden she's like, can I get the yammy yammy because it's been 2 days.
And he says, yeah, bend down.
Yeah, like he's going to give it
down.
Give it to her right then and there. She's like, you're so silly.
From behind.
Yeah.
Bend down?
I don't want to see that.
Well, like, it's like bend down, like, just like, yeah, put your hands on your, like, shins, like you're doing, you just, yeah, or just like you just went down before you did like, you're doing flat back and yoga, just put your hands like around there and then just like aim it right.
I mean, it's just disgusting. I mean, I would want to see Jenny and Sumit, but I don't want to see Soulja Boy and Kimbali. So he's having a birthday party and he wants to make sure she's going to be on her best behavior. And in my mind, she's going to act at this birthday party because she truly wants to be carried around and toted as his girlfriend. And I think he's going to get around all of his friends and introduce her as his girlfriend, but not have her like a queen on his arm as he roams about. I think he's going to I think we're going to see a lot of scenes of her sitting down by herself.
Yeah. Okay, I am going to move us on to Angela and Michael. There they are. Dee. So we get to Angela's house, honey, and there is her friend Renee, and just saying, "Are you gonna take the dress? Are you gonna take this? Like this dress that she shows is like a long black one, I think maxi with like long sleeves with like the word money on it."
And then this woman says, "Does a bear shit in the woods?" And I said, "Why was that necessary to that? Why can't you just say yes?" Yeah. This wasn't even there's a bear. This wasn't even a like idiom or analogy situation. You just like wanted to say that on camera.
Yes, absolutely. So we get to meet more about Renee. They just met a year ago, which always like suspect. Like if you're already on a reality show, like okay, because like Renee who he was.
Absolutely.
So basically, Angela smelled on Renee that Renee likes to smoke, and we know one thing about Angela is that she loves to smoke. She also loves Trump. She loves to smoke and loves Trump. And she and this girl Renee go and they they go to the bathroom and they get the bathroom attendant to leave by a little cash donation, and they just smoke in that bathroom in the airport.
That sounds like a fake ass thing, or it's somewhere in Georgia that is a different type of airport than any airport that I've traveled in recently.
Like, is it a private airport?
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, what airport has an attendant in the bathroom?
Yeah, is it a club? Like, and
then what attendant would leave you to smoke in a bathroom?
Yeah,
like their job could totally be on the line.
Yeah, how much money do you give them? Like,
I mean, it would have to be like $300. Like, I'm not taking it for anything less. $100? Nah, give me $300. I'll leave and let you
smoke indoors. Like, what the smoke is just sitting in the bathroom. Could you imagine like anyone
walking
going
in?
Oh
I'd
God,
be so pissed. I'd walk out immediately and be like, American Express. Like, I did not use my miles for this space for it to be like my Centurion miles. For this space, for it to be smelling like cigarettes.
I can't do it. Anyway, but now they're best friends, okay? And Renee is going with her to Nigeria.
It's like, where's JoJo? What'd she do with JoJo? She just like got rid of JoJo and just got this black lady.
I can imagine that there's like a rotating, like best friend situation for her.
I mean, because Angela's too much, I wouldn't be able to handle her.
Yeah. Yes. I think it probably would turn toxic, as we've seen it can, and like be somewhat abusive. People can just like wear out and be like, I just can't, or she gets mad at them or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I a billion things. So, anyway, so yeah, they're packing for her, and And she's telling her how Michael has treated her. And we also get a little information for Renee, who didn't realize that she already said yes to this woman, and that supposedly she didn't know that Angela is going to just surprise Michael. Like, has not told him they are coming. It's just
Yeah.
going to walk up.
Yeah. And I was really, at first, I was like, oh my God, Renee must be like my first time in the motherland, and I'm going to go here and surprise these people. Like, this can't be me. Like, I thought immediately she was going to like reject the idea and or just be like the ancestors would kill me. But no, she ends up going, I like the idea of her going there, surprising him.
That way he can go through her phone. Like, this is what Angela says, like, and I want to go through his phone without him knowing I'm going to be there. And so he can't erase anything. And like, Renee's like, yeah, no, I get it.
I mean, Renee was ready for this. Her wig is great.
Yeah, Renee is absolutely ready. Like, Renee was ready when she saw Angela was there and then just like got it close to her and then just like maybe had just like sprayed a little like OD Parliament OD, like camel here and there just to have Angela be like, I like you, like
Yeah.
yeah, like you're my friend. You're like
Yeah.
cigarette social friends,
Oh my God,
like
ugh.
it is one thing when you smoke cigarettes, because I definitely like can't just like be on a pedestal that I've never done it before. I have. And when you're smoking cigarettes and you're like, because I used to do it when I worked at a restaurant, HEA, and like I knew what servers smoked, and like it was fun to like, go have a little breaky poo with them. So become like social. So when you're a smoker, you want other smokers, misery loves company. Misery
Mhm.
loves company, as they say. Yeah, basically, Angela doesn't know if this tactic will work, she says, but I feel like the producers know that this tactic will work when it comes to ratings.
Oh my God. If you really wanted to save your marriage, you're not going to do something that you don't know if it's going to work or not.
Well, I mean, I guess people would like try therapy not knowing if it's going to work or not, right?
Yes, that's, I guess, okay, you wouldn't do unhealthy things or crazy things not knowing whether or not they're going to work. She knows it's not going to work. She just feels like it's her due and that she's going to be on TV and she's going to get high ratings. And, she's coming out with her maxi dress line of clothing and, stuff like that. She can't even pack. That's how much anxiety she has just from Michael's antics. She cannot pack for however long she's going to be in Nigeria. It's like ridiculous.
She's been blaming Michael for everything that she's ever not done or done
Yeah.
the entire time. Like, all she can, like, he's never even set foot on American soil. Can you imagine, like, if he ever did? Like, like, I couldn't go to bed last night, Michael. Like, I got up late, Michael. Like, literally everything would be his fault. Like, straight up. Anything about them, my love? More? Okay, I'm moving on to the couple that I can't wait to talk about with you. And that's Andre and Libby. And then also all of her crazy family. It's Family Day Libby. I'm calling it right now. There's no way we're not going to get a Family Day Libby. I think that's why we're knowing all the sisters, all the brothers, all of their kids, all of their spouses. So I know, I'm right though. So Buki/Jen is a dance mom, and then Libby comes with Becky to watch their young niece, point and flex, honey, and like jeté and do all the jetés,
With her braids and her beads. I said, okay, black girl representation. I see you.
Yeah, it's better than the dance moms that we only had one lovely black lady for like so long. Everyone else was like so white. What was her name? Oh, I forgot. I don't know anyone's name, but
her own. Chris doesn't know anyone's
Abby
name
Lee
but her
Miller.
own.
Yeah.
Her name is not Chris Farah. It's just like on the tip of her tongue and then out of her brain immediately.
It's true. So they suddenly take like Libby by surprise by doing a completely about face about whether they're going to go to their mom's party, which they had obviously like come up with a united front that Charlie is an alcoholic and they're putting up boundaries and they're not going to go to a situation that he's going to be there. And now these girls are like, hey, Libby, are you going to go to mom's birthday? It's her 60th birthday. And yeah, like Charlie's going to be there.
Yeah. And they felt like, they're not going to allow him to ruin their family events.
Yeah.
And so they're just going to do it for mom and see how it goes. But they want to know if Libby's going to go because Libby is allowing Andre to isolate her and pull her further and further away from her family.
Yeah. They're like, Andre is putting a wall around her, is what they say. They're like, what is like Charlie going to do? Like, we're at a restaurant.
And she's like, were you not at the barbecue? What do you mean, what is he gonna do?
Yeah.
We don't know what he's gonna do when he gets drunk. And he most likely will get drunk.
Yeah.
And so then Becky says something that is so rude.
Yep.
And as soon as she said it, I was like, oh, bitch.
Yeah. Libby's trying, like, listen, it's very hard to get getting ganged up on. So besides the fact that she's like, yeah, we're not gonna go. And they're like blaming Andre. She's also like, well, it's not just that. Like, Andre has his green card meeting coming up to see if it's gonna get renewed, and we just can't have anything like come up. And then Becky's like, I hope he gets deported.
Becky,
What?
You hope that the father of your young niece gets deported?
Yeah.
That's how much you hate that man, even though like you just spent time with him and you've been spending time with him for the last 6 months. You hope he gets deported.
I know.
It is just such a rude thing to say because it's much more ramifications of him not being there than him being there.
Yeah.
And then Libby says, what a fucking stupid thing to say.
Yeah, I'm glad she did.
And I was like, yes, Libby, you need to say that.
Yeah.
Like, that's absolutely what needed to be said right now, because you would never wish that your brother-in-law's like disappeared and went somewhere else. And then she's like, you know that if that happens, then I would have to go to Moldova to be with my husband because I just wouldn't be separate from him. So you would never see me again. And Becky has no response to that. She just like is like looking like she thought I made a funny.
Yeah,
and the fucking funny didn't land. And so then she's like, oh, like, shit, I guess. I'm like, why don't you guys stop being mean to Libby? Like, it feels like Becky and Buki have probably always been kind of shitty to Libby. The fact that she says that nobody supported her singing career, I honestly feel like they were kind of shitty older sisters. They might have ganged up on her a lot. They're definitely jealous of the amount of attention Chuck gives Libby. So it's just kind of like, bitches, we're tired of seeing you guys. Like, you're on this show because of Andre. You have OnlyFans because of Andre.
Yeah.
Everyone in this family who does own OnlyFans or has cameos has that because Libby took her ass to Ireland and met Andre.
Yeah.
So I hate that whole narrative that like, oh, you're going to no, y'all wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that foreigner. So stop acting stupid.
Yeah, and then the editors know this because next scene they gives us is the cutest scene ever, which is Andre playing Barbies with Ellie, and he's like so cute. He's like, "Shall they kiss?" You know, and like Ellie's like, yeah, daddy.
I love that the Barbie is still daddy. It's still daddy Barbie too.
Yeah,
it's like this is Ellie doll and this is daddy doll, and it's a full
woman.
Yeah, it's a full woman.
Yeah, like they don't have a Ken. Like, you know, he doesn't know the concept of Barbies. I think he literally is like, I play with doll, like a doll is me.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like, no, you put your character. It's your character. You know,
this is daddy doll.
Yeah. So. And then that's like a scene and it's done. And then we get, honey, the scene of scenes, which is freaking Charlie taking feet pics of his wife Megan on the bed, and they're just like the souliest of souls, the like, you know, like the toeiest of toes, just like fish eye style up close feet pics that she is like, he's like barely focusing. He's like, yeah, great. Like over and over again. And like, she's like, yeah. And he's like, your feet are so hot, and just putting them on OnlyFans, honey. And like, we've talked about it before. And she just is like, I make $70,000 more than I did. Yeah. Last year, more than I made with your dad.
And it's crazy because she's basically a stay-at-home mom, right? Like, she has young kids. And so for her to just be able to make $70,000 without really doing anything but going to get pedicures every 2 weeks, I'm just like, yeah. That sounds ideal. And the fact that her husband is super into it. I mean, they both have their gold chains shining. I was so mad when I saw Charlie's gold chain. Charlie's gold chain mixed with that shirt and the way that his facial hair was lined up perfection. I said, oh, is he trying to be black? Like, not trying to be like, he's giving like Italian Guido a little bit. Like, yes. It's very not who he was seasons 1 and 2 of what we saw them. This is a very urban, clean cut version of him. Those two chains over that like 90s-esque striped shirt was definitely giving like a little Dwayne Wayne. Like it was like all I saw was cross colors. Tell me if I'm wrong. It was very like white boy urban.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like upset that his facial hair was crisp. He was giving very crisp facial hair, which is not culturally what white men do.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And like he definitely does not look like his dad at all. Like so different, you know, like Megan is doing all the Meganist things, which is like backing up her bro husband, you know, and everything he says, which is like, Andre's the problem. Andre's the one like spreading like lies about me that I'm an alcoholic. We always drink the same, like, and I'm not an alcoholic. Yeah, babe, totally. Like, and he's just doing that. And like, look at my backsplash. It has black and gray together. I feel like there's so much gray in their house. It's not my favorite. I've already decided who my favorite backsplash of the family is. Obviously, it's Libby and Andre. But yeah, so they just kind of have a back and forth conversation that's just like hyping each other up and dismissing Andre as being like the problem of all problems, that everything would be perfect if it wasn't for Andre, and also how shitty he feels like his dad taking Andre has made him feel.
Yeah, I mean he's a hurt little boy because
Yes.
his father doesn't love him as much as he loves the new son-in-law.
Yes.
Also, he's like, tell me what I did wrong. Tell me when I got drunk and tried to fight people. I don't remember that. I'm like, we saw it on TV. It's like the whole thing. Your dad was in the corner, like, like crying like an animal in the corner. It was like crazy. What are you talking about? You don't know. He's like, I want them to tell me what I did wrong. So of course,
and the wedding, there's like so many times, you know.
Yeah. Of course, when he sees Becky and Buki, they're gonna tell him, and I hope that they get into an argument and it makes good TV. But it's just like, also, do you remember? I don't know. Besides the OnlyFans feet pics, do you remember the other thing that was on OnlyFans?
The other thing?
Mm-hmm. Maybe it wasn't on OnlyFans, but somehow it got leaked, girl.
Yeah. No, they did other things.
They did other things. Okay, so
yeah, it's not just feet.
We know that Charlie is girthy. I will never forget that situation because it was the right length and the right girth, and I was happy for Megan in that moment.
She's tiny. She's a little tiny spinner. She's tiny.
You know what? I'm gonna be real honest with you. I hate the term spinner.
Oh.
And I don't know why. Every time you say it, it's like nails on a chalkboard. It feels anti-woman, and I don't know why.
Because you can spin her on your dick.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying spinster.
I know. I don't know. I just think it's like I don't know. I'm wrong. I'm like,
no, I think it's just body positivity. Like, it's a good thing, you know, like guys like that, but also guys like cushion. You know, it's like guys like everything, but like, you know, so it's just like, yeah, you know, when you're just, I don't know. Is that like also, maybe that's an old timey reference. Maybe that like dates me.
I've never heard it. And so yeah, so I'm like, I guess I just think of it as like, I don't know. I gotta think through my thought.
Okay. Basically that brings us to the end of the episode because we don't talk about Ed at all. So it's not an Ed episode. It's an episode.
We do talk about him. We talk about every week about how we don't talk about him.
But what you guys? What if one person? Okay,
they know we no longer have to talk about how we don't talk about him.
Okay, God bless. However, we do talk throughout the week. If you want to follow us, you can on DocuSweeties. It's on Instagram. We just did a fabulous Instagram live, honey, with 90 Day the Melanated Way. It was so much fun. And so that is on the feed. You can watch it. It's like 40 minutes of just like really fun, engaging personality, Linda, of 90 Day the Melanated Way, and she was so much fun to talk to. She has all the
Manila Way. It's filmed in Philippines.
God damn it. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. But I love you guys so much. So yeah, definitely follow us there. And if you want to see our faces, where?
Oh yeah, you could see us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we drop the content that we're filming right now immediately. So you would get a visual, unedited version of this. Did you make it unlinked?
Let's talk about it later. So we will see our lives. We love you guys so much, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.